I'm Dustin. Welcome to Fantasy Smack Talk Week 15. This is your player rankings. Brent couldn't make it this week. He's got something going on. I'm actually sick right now. Feel like hell, but it's Week 15. Got to get these rankings out for you, so I'm going to try to power through this one. If you got questions you want us to answer, post them in the comments of this video. We try to get to as many as we can. Let's go ahead and get right into it. Let's take a look at the quarterbacks. Number 12, Josh Allen. I mean, it's tough. Do you really want to put your playoff life in the hands of a rookie? Maybe. I mean, it's been pretty impressive over the last 3 weeks. He's averaging over 100 yards rushing a game. Not throwing in a ton of passing stats, but throwing in enough to be relevant. You know, Detroit, not the easiest defense, but certainly not the hardest, and I like that he's at home. We think he's real close to being a QB1 this week. And then Aaron Rodgers at 16. I have him in one of my leagues. Right after I drafted him, I've been dreading this decision on if I'm going to start him Week 15. And it's just scary. We saw what happened to Goff last week, and you know, it is a divisional game, and Rodgers, I feel like, you know, knows that team very well, and he should have more success than Goff did. But it's still a scary matchup. As of right now, we got him at 16. We're staying away if there's other solid options. Don't forget to get into our FanDuel, or click the link to join some FanDuel. Deposit some money. If you're not doing well in season long or you're out, get in some daily. So that way you have something to root for on Sundays. So click on there, deposit some money, and join some games. Let's take a look at running backs. Justin Jackson, we got him at 12. Obviously, this is if Melvin Gordon ends up sitting. If Gordon plays, you know, we probably have Gordon maybe top 6, top 7. I mean, you're starting him if you own Gordon. But Jackson is a very interesting start if Gordon's out. Eckler's already been ruled out, and Jackson has shown some flashes. So I think he's, you know, almost a must-start RB2 with a high upside if you own him and Gordon sits. Damian Williams, another guy that could get a big boost this week. Spencer Ware is doubtful. So with the game tomorrow, it certainly seems like Spencer Ware is going to miss the game. Damian Williams, 2 touchdowns last week. You know, certainly didn't look all that impressive in terms of yards per carry, but he does have some value on that offense just because of how high-powered it is. We've got to talk about the Pittsburgh situation. We didn't really sure what to do with them in the rankings for this week just because we don't know if Connor's coming back, but it looks like there's a real shot that he does. So if Connor does come back, we probably move him up 5 or 6 spots, and we move Samuels down about 10 or 15 spots. If Connor doesn't come back, we'd probably move Samuels up a few spots. But lots of injuries this week, lots of stuff to keep an eye on. You know, it just seems like it's just one after another with people coming up with questionable tags, and doubtful tags. So this week more than most, you need to pay real close attention to the injury reports. Then I want to talk about Doug Martin at 29. He has a really good matchup. You know, the Bengals are terrible at stopping the run. Doug Martin's looked pretty good as of late. So I do not hate Doug Martin this week going up against the Bengals. I think he could be a sneaky flex play. I think there's a decent chance that he finds the end zone. And also, don't forget, we got a Thursday game, and then we have 2 Saturday games. So make sure you're keeping an eye on your lineups for the Saturday games. Let's take a look at wide receiver Adam Thielen. They fired their offensive coordinator. You know, their head coach has been talking about wanting to go more run heavy. So how does this affect Thielen? You know, it's hard to say because it seemed like they're kind of forgetting about Thielen at some points in some games, and it's just, they got to get this guy the ball. So hopefully, even if they do go a little bit more run heavy, they design a few more passes over to Thielen. But decent matchup against Miami. We still got him as a wide receiver 1. Tyreek Hill, you know, the heel injury is a little worrisome, but I mean, even with as gimpy as he was at the end of the game last week, he was still putting up some impressive plays and stats. So it looks like Hill's going to play. So deploy him almost as normal. We bumped him down a couple spots just because of the injury. Moving on, Tyler Boyd. You know, he hasn't really been as good as we thought he might be, you know, after A.J. Green got hurt. But, you know, obviously there's been a lot of other injuries out there with the Bengals, with Andy Dalton. But this could be a week that Boyd bounces back a little bit. Going up against Oakland, like that matchup for him. Not hating on some Boyd. He's a very high upside wide receiver 3, I feel. And then Mike Williams for the Chargers on that Thursday night game. He hasn't really had a monster blow-up game over his last couple, but he does have the potential. And in that game, you got to think there could be a high-scoring game, and I like his touchdown potential. I mean, he's down here at 36 for a reason, but I'm just saying as a guy that you can maybe even pick up that has some touchdown potential, I don't mind him. Over to tight end. It continues to be a mess. Jordan Reed's out now. Not that he was really doing all that well anyway, but tight end position, always tricky this year, but Rob Gronkowski made it a little easier for his owners this week in terms of if they should start him. Looked good last week. If you own him, you're almost certainly starting him. There's still obviously some worry about him aggravating one of his injuries, but he's a tight end 1 for us this week. And don't forget about Ian Thomas. He's available in a lot of leagues. Still doesn't have a touchdown this year. He's out there with Carolina. Decent matchup with New Orleans. I mean, they are good against the tight end, but that should be a high-scoring game. And Thomas has 14 catches over his last 2 games, so you got to like that. So PPR leagues, I think I like him even more. So we'll see. It definitely looks like he's got a solid role on that team and what could be a high-scoring game. I don't mind him. Finally, heading over to defense, Chicago Bears. I said it last week, you don't start a defense against the Rams, but man, the Bears, they certainly proved me wrong. They looked good. That was impressive. Now they got the Packers. And, obviously the Packers haven't looked all that great this year, but I talked about it before. It's a divisional game. These teams know each other really well. I do expect the Packers to have some success. I just don't know how much. So we have the Bears at 5. That felt right for us. So, I mean, if you own them, you're almost certainly starting them. But there are a couple other defenses we like, or 4 other defenses we like more. And then the Rams at 8. With Wentz out, I think that helps them a little bit. Foles didn't look all that great in relief earlier in the season. So the Rams D, inside our top 10, we like them this week. So, good luck. Important week, week 15. Like I said, leave some comments, like the video, subscribe, and good luck.